In the spring of 2015, El Paso County experienced its fourth federally declared disaster in 4 years. Fires in 2012 and 2013, flooding in 2013, and this time record rainfall starting in May, resulting in more flood damage. Between May 4th and June 16th, heavy rains caused millions of dollars of damage to roads, bridges, drainageways, parks, trails, and facilities. Employees of El Paso County's Public Services Department were taken away from most routine road and bridge maintenance work to concentrate on areas hit hardest by the flooding. It's critical to public safety that county roads be reopened as quickly as possible to provide access for emergency vehicles and for the convenience of residents. In some areas of the county, a washed-out road can add miles to a daily commute. Gathering materials and working as quickly as possible, Public Services was able to reopen many of the washed-out roads in a few hours. Some were closed for several weeks, and one, Jones Road, was so heavily damaged it remained closed for months. Jones Road was still under repair in early September when representatives from the Federal Emergency Disaster Agency, or FEMA, visited the area.
We will come out and we'll measure the damage, we'll measure the site, we'll visit all the available sites, and we'll take pictures. We will get GPS, as our team does, and then we take that information, formulate a damage description.
FEMA's DeLawrence Treadwell is on a team of FEMA representatives in El Paso County working to document the damage at all the sites and help determine what work needs to be done to rebuild after the disaster. The work needs to go beyond just putting it back together.
We will provide an additional amount to help them be able to shore this up and reduce the risk of it being washed out, possibly in another disaster or another rainstorm as they receive the sun.
Working together with FEMA in these circumstances, El Paso County may be able to put disaster-qualified roads, trails, and drainage systems back better than they were before.
We're doing some additional work to better make sure that this culvert stays in place longer than previous installations with some sheet piling, basically stabilizing the ends of the pipe better than just the embankment.
County Engineer Andre Bracken says sheet piling, long strips of metal which are used to essentially build a wall, will anchor the new culverts in place both upstream and downstream. Instead of 2 pipes running under the road, there will now be 3 to carry destructive stormwater under the road when the next major rainstorm hits. County staff works together with FEMA to assess the work that needs to be done and calculate the funding needed.
We're going through the numbers, the cost estimates, so we're looking at materials such as how much pipe costs, the embankment work, sheet pile cost, all these items.
El Paso County has to pay up front, and in the case of recognized disasters like this, FEMA will reimburse 75% of the cost after all the work is completed. The county may be able to find other sources for the remaining 25%, and other times the county may be responsible for the entire 25% match. For certain types of projects, 12.5%, half of the county match, may come from the state disaster fund. But state funds are not useful if they push total county revenues for the year over the so-called Tabor cap, thereby requiring a rebate to taxpayers. Roads, drainage, parks, or trails. The process is about the same for FEMA, measuring and documenting damage and coming to an agreement with county staff on what it will take to make repairs. At the Hanson Trailhead along the Fountain Creek Regional Trail in Fountain Creek Regional Park, putting the trail back together is probably a bad idea.
In this case, we have to look at what we can do to get the trail further away from the active portion of the creek. We may actually be looking at creek realignment in this area. The channel's in a completely different location post-flooding.
How helpful might 75% of the estimated $3 million of damage to parks and trails be?
It's a tremendous support. $3 million is the park's annual budget, so you can see it would be very difficult for us to do this work without FEMA's involvement.
FEMA staff understands that roads, parks, and trails are all critically important as a community works to recover from a disaster.
A lot of people don't think of of a park and a recreation area as the most important of our public facilities, but it is, because it's for the whole welfare of the community. We want to bring that back as much as the broken roads and the broken bridges. It's part of the community's heart.